Hello everyone, welcome to Radula Studio. This is another Paint with Me session. I start with a shape. I automatically have to think of those fish that with a long, airy tail, wavy, thin. I'm not sure if I can even describe the tail. Anyway, mm, I try to spread the color a bit on the paper. That's something between a squid and a tree or a plant, some sort of plant. And of course, again, I don't have a clue about what I'm painting. I don't have a purpose. I just start playing with the color on the paper, making some first shapes, and I take it from there. So this layer of paint is just to give some sort of a different base on the paper. Like I prepare the paper and with this very thin glaze. That's how it looks when it's dry. It's like a long necked dinosaur with some house wings. This feels a bit like a big chicken upside down, or a duck chicken. Another dinosaur maybe. And some spreading of this color. It is a yellow with a little bit of red inside. You see again like a sea creature with a that's the tail for me, and the other side is the head with two wings in between. Sometimes the decision is conscious, but it's not well thought. Like this one, for example, I was like the moment I started with this brown, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for this. Like with the first stroke, I felt like, okay, this might look like a sea monster. I'm gonna go for it. So it is some sort of a conscious decision, not well thought. And yeah, here I'm trying to save it because I don't really like the shape. And here I see like a bird or an owl with like long hair, maybe in two legs. Some other plant structures or coral structures here and there. This is like a Pac-Man fish. Again, as a strategy, I'm using very diluted colors, like very pastel ones, as the first layer, and upon them I will build up with more intense ones. Here I add layers of color that somehow give some sort of structure in the space that surrounds these buildings. And once I spot the structure, because I don't know it, I experiment with it, or I just allow elements here and there. And from that point onwards, I start building. That is yeah, that this is an example of how I use the layers. I use a layer of more intense color on top of the very pastel one to add details, like some first shadows for that being. wasn't very satisfied either with that orange as a first layer. It looks much better. Sometimes the watercolor looks a bit different when it dries out. So give it some time to see what you're actually doing. Sometimes even when I see um, something in what I'm doing, like in the shapes, in the original shapes, like that fish, for instance, the long tail, um, I still leave the possibility of what it can be open so that I can still be a bit more playful in the process of making, instead of having a very concrete decision that I will stick to it. I think the important thing is like to stay open to the possibilities that the action, the painting is offering, instead of having something fixed in mind, at least for this kind of project. Give some shape to this animal body. It looks like a bug, a flying bug with the head of a deer, of a deer with a mosquito, maybe. That's the first ones that come in mind. I still cannot understand or decide what it is. Sometimes the stroke and the pre-existing structure can give you some sort of direction on how to proceed and how to paint. And I'm trying to take that into consideration every time I'm painting. I think I kind of messed up with the old thingy there. So I let it dry for a bit and I'm back. I somehow feel there might be too much yellow in general on the paper, but I will proceed with the figures first and then I'll figure it out. Kind of like how these colder colors work. They somehow bring some balance into the rest of the orange. So this is like a gray blue. It looks a bit like a flamingo. So I was seeing that whale here before, right? I don't anymore. But here I see a face and I see eyes. And you could see something like a horn on its head. Yeah, I see a head. That would be the nose, the mouth, and that hole in the middle, the eye, maybe. So apparently the battery went off and I didn't understand till I reached this point. Um, so I kind of finished that creature as a face. I added some greens here and there, and I still see the fish here, so I'm just gonna give it its tail for now. I kind of have a problem with the amount of yellow in this painting. This pink gives some sort of balance to it, but I think it needs more. That blue was not very necessary there. Remember the Pac-Man fish? I also see the mouth of a parrot. I wonder if you see other things that I cannot see, and uh, I would love to hear in the comments what that would be. Here I try to intensify with the sky color, if that's a sky there. Let's say area, not sky. But I'm not sure if it works. That purple felt a bit too much there. Feels. But I like it here. To define the colors. Defining and also taking advantage of the some of the structures left by the water, like the spread of the color in the paper. And those give some sort of structure or texture in the texture in the beings. You can get an idea of its skin, for instance. So I'm going for dark blues here, trying to bring some sort of balance again. And here I do something a bit more radical as a gesture to cover what I was doing before with this blue, so that I have a balance both in the colors, both in those yellows that are everywhere, but also in the fragmented um, elements I have in this painting. So like both compositionally and um, in terms of color balance, which is also composition now that I think about it. Anyway, you got me, hopefully. Yes, it somehow gives also this watery vibe. It feels like those creatures are underwater. This is more or less how it looks dry. I'm going for some extra details in the duck chicken, upside down duck chicken. It looks like it's kissing the other face. I also wanted to get rid of this red line and the yellow elements in between. So I'm again taking advantage of its shape and doing something else with it, with that color on top. So as this video is coming to an end, I wanted to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the like button. This is very helpful. On other news, if you want to support the channel, you can head to Patreon. You find a link in the description. There you can have access to the whole Radula project. You can find all the aquarels, full-length videos of the painting sessions, and some digital paintings. Other than that, you can also follow me on Instagram for the rest. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next Friday with a new video.